to another video brought to you by your one and only Literary Vero. In the vehicle on the way to work, had a great morning this morning. Had a good run, went to the gym, got my workout in. I feel good this morning, and it's based upon the decisions that I've made this morning for myself. Remember, I tell you guys, it's not predicated on you feeling good. It's not predicated on your external circumstances. It's rather driven, and it actually comes from what you generate. Never comparing yourself to other people is the number one factor. You don't do that. Doing that is just an immediate killer of joy. So what you want to do is just have a plan that you can achieve. And as you achieve those plans and achieve those goals, be it short term or long term, extend yourself to be better and create more challenging goals to look forward to accomplishing. So me feeling good today has nothing to do with me putting anything in my body. I haven't eaten anything. The only thing that I did this morning was after I worked out, before I left out the door, I drank water. That's all I did. Yeah, that's all I did. And I'm not basing my feelings or the way I feel or my temperament based upon any type of chemical stimulant. So just wanted to let you guys know that the human body alone, the decisions that you make, your routines and your daily practices and how you operate and how you do it. It's not just what you do, it's how you do it. If you're doing something with all out sincerity and you're truly genuine to what you're trying to accomplish, then the body will reciprocate that, meaning that your body will meet the same energy that you put forth. And these aren't things that you can see in the abstract. These are things that are more embedded in the realm of frequencies and vibrations. You're not going to see it, but because we are electrical beings, you're not going to see those things. You don't see electricity, but you can feel it. So just want to let you guys know that. I had somebody ask me a question the other day. The guy said, and this is going to fall into the topic of you being the generator of your own temperament, and you having the power to bend the material world to bend to you, not you bend into the material world. We have it inverted. We have it so reversed. And I think that's why we find ourselves in this chaotic, cyclical sense of psychosis where we never can actually extract ourselves from it. We remain in it, and we're trying to find solutions from a faulty premise. If your foundation is faulty, there's no way for you to extrapolate any type of solution or resolution because your foundation is faulty. You don't have anything to actually stand on. So anything that you're trying is just empty attempts. They're futile attempts. I had a guy mention to me the other day, he said, when I was driving, he's talking about the material world here. He says, when I was driving I think he said he was driving a Neon. I don't know if it was a Dodge Neon or I don't know what it was, but he mentioned the car Neon. He said, when I was driving a Neon, I would just drive on the road, get to where I need to go, get to work, go to the gas station, run errands, and do whatever I need to do. And I really never had anybody looking at me or paying attention to me. I was the same guy. I was still fit. I took care of myself. I was just driving a Neon. But the minute that I got a Corvette, I would drive and heads would turn. I even pulled up. I'm paraphrasing his story here. He said I even pulled up to. I put up to a red light, like a stop sign, and some girls drove up next to me, and they just started blowing kisses at me. And the reason why this guy was telling me this because he saw a clear, stark contrast between him and the Neon, and with him in the Corvette. Same guy, nothing changed about him. It's the material that changed. Whatever he was encased in a more expensive vehicle, or in a vehicle that implies that the person driving it is well off financially. Now, I want to give you guys a message here, and this is to myself as well. You know, a lot of the times when I talk to you guys, I'm talking to myself too. I told you guys before, this is therapy for me just as much as it can be therapy for you if you allow it to. I know it's difficult, and as a man, you feel that your worth is based upon your money and how much income you can generate. And to a degree it is, but not your whole worth. We don't want to live on the extremes. The extreme that the world tries to indoctrinate us with is that the more a man has, the more worth he has. Now, there's financial worth, okay? We understand financial worth. What are you worth financially? And someone can say, I'm worth X amount of millions financially, or I'm worth X amount of billions financially, or whatever you're worth. People can actually put a metric or a number to it. They can add a qualitative metric to it to say, this is what I am. That's part of it, but that's not the whole story of a man. See, when this guy was telling me this story, I felt he wasn't telling me the story and like he was happy about it. And that lets me know he's a cerebral human being. He's a good man at heart. He wasn't saying it in a bragging way. Yeah, now that I'm driving my Corvette, the girls are looking at me. He just didn't understand, like, what was the difference. He understood the difference. He understands that it's because he has a better car. But he wanted to go a little bit deeper as to these women not even knowing who I am. When I drove this same car, I didn't get any attention. When I drove a Dodge Neon, I didn't get any attention. Nobody looked at me. I'm in a Corvette, same guy. I'm getting looks from men and women, to the point that women are sticking their heads out the window blowing kisses at me. So let me tell you guys something. Do not allow the material possession to be your motivator. Don't let it be the motivating factor of trying to identify your worth. In other words, don't pursue material possessions as a way or as a justification to place your worth on some sort of marquee so people can say, this is what I'm worth. Your worth is sacred. It's something that's spiritual and something that should be internal. The external factors are sometimes, not all the time, are sometimes a replica of what's going on internally. So I'll give you an example. If a man has discipline and has drive and has ambition and works very hard, it's likely that he's going to gain material possessions because he has those intangibles, right? He has those characteristics that yield a certain type of result. But that's not always true. You have men who have those attributes, but they're not necessarily filthy rich or have a lot of money to buy a bunch of fancy cars and drive around and have women gawking at them. That's not always true. So it's not a linear equation. It's not something that's just you do this, you get that. You do this, you get that. It's not that simple. There's a lot of nuances involved and a lot of variables involved, and there are many moving parts. So you really can't say you do this, you get that. But as a man, I want you guys, as men, I want us, all as men, if your ambition or your goal is to try to solidify your worth and you're allowing the attention of women to be the litmus test or the dictating factor as to what you're worth, and then you have the whole thing all wrong. See, the only person that should care about their worth is you. you have to be satisfied with yourself first. And this is not me talking like the overweight woman who says, I love myself, and I love myself being big and out of shape, and I'm comfortable in my own skin, so I don't care. That's not what I'm talking about. Because I know a lot of the times people try to use that same parallel and say, well, men do better. Well, just because you can't do better, just be satisfied with what you have. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying this. As men, we already have an internal clock. Any man who has a high degree of testosterone already has an internal clock within his DNA makeup that's going to make you competitive, that's going to make you want to strive for more. It's in you. You can't deny it. It's inevitable. It's just in you, right? Now, you should always be striving to be better, okay? The overweight woman who doesn't go to the gym, don't sit there on your fat ass and just say, well, I am who I am, I'm big, and I love myself. Hopefully a man loves me the way I am. Well, most men don't like that. Most men want a woman that has some sort of shape and healthy, not just your shape, but health reasons too. But well, anyway, let me get off that subject. It's a very sensitive topic for some women, but I'm just being honest. A lot of women like to, say, you're fat shaming me. And I'm not fat shaming you. I'm giving you truth, and you just feel ashamed of the truth. So now you want to twist the words and say I'm fat shaming. Now you want to play the victim role. You want to stew in victimhood so people can have pity on you, when in actuality you have every opportunity to do something about the way you look and about your weight. As a man, I'm not telling you to be satisfied with where you are at financially. Don't strive to be better, but don't let that be your worth. Same thing with women. Don't let your physique be your worth, but strive to have a better physique. It's not just being complacent and staying where you're at and saying, well, I am where I am now, that's my worth. And no, you're not worth anything. You're worth what you have. What you have currently is your worth. So if you're a woman, you have no man and no men don't look at you, that's your worth. A woman's worth is in her beauty. I know it sounds shallow because women say I could bring more to the table, but a lot of the times men don't give a damn what you bring to the table. They just want you to look good and have some sort of sense. Most men aren't looking for a woman that can do this and do that. That strong, independent woman shit is overblown. Men want to be the ones that are strong and independent. They don't want a woman to be strong and independent. If a woman is strong and independent, then what do I need a woman for? My job of being strong and independent becomes moot. It's a moot point. Like, it's obsolete. Like, there's no reason for me. If a woman can do it all by herself, then what the hell does she need me for? Why do you think most men who are well off financially, they'll go talk to a girl who doesn't work? They'll go talk to a girl who works part-time at a retail store. How many stories have I heard of men who are wealthy? They just find some chick that's not doing anything with their lives in terms of working. Like, that stuff is overblown. I'm not saying women be lazy, but this idea that you need to be strong and independent and have all these, no, real men don't want that. The only men that like that are men who are, lack of a better word, they're they're freeloaders. Like, they strive to live off of women, and that's a feminine man. That's not even a man. No man is comfortable with a woman doing things for him. We have too much pride. And men, if you're listening to me, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You feel very uncomfortable when a woman is doing things for you. You may accept the help, but in your head you're like, man, I can't wait till this shit's over with so I can get on my feet. Men, it feels good when a man can take care of the house, can buy his women things, can pay the bills. That makes a man feel good. We don't want our women doing that shit. And if our woman has to do that, it doesn't really make us feel good. Maybe I'm just speaking for myself, but I know there's a lot of guys out there that feel the same way I feel. I am not comfortable with a woman taking care of me, but I know who is comfortable with somebody taking care of them. Women are very comfortable with a man taking care of them. Rightfully so. It's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way. It's supposed to be that way. Women shouldn't feel bad if a man's taking care of them. So I say all that to say this. Man, don't let the material world dictate your worth. But at the same time, don't be complacent. But don't be complacent. When I say don't be complacent, I'm not implying that you need to endeavor and strive to go get material possessions to prove your worth. Your worth comes from within you and your daily practices. The external things are just the symptoms of what you've already been doing for years. So it's just a matter of time till the material starts to align and replicate what's already on the inside. You see, matter and atoms all work codependently. What I mean by codependently, everything depends on one another. The spiritual world and the physical world are both one. The physical world at times most of the times is much slower than the spiritual world, because a lot of the things that are happening in the spiritual take time to manifest itself in the physical. Because a lot of the times it takes perception, it takes our personal perceptions, and us seeing things through a different lens for us to actually appreciate certain things in the physical. So therefore, when our outlook changes, the physical changes. And when the physical changes, we start to have that physical manifestation match the spiritual manifestations, and both could join to make bliss. So what I'm telling you is that as men, don't think that you need to have the Lamborghini and the motorcycles and the BMWs and the Mercedes-Benz and the all these fancy stuff to have people giving you attention. Because I tell you what, remember I made a video a while back. I said I'm driving in a Hyundai Accent, but I'm a married man. I'm not out there seeking women. But what I am telling those men that are out there that are single is that don't think that the Maybach is going to get the woman. You be the Maybach. People say, what do you mean by be the Maybach? What I'm saying is that I'm using wordplay and tongue in cheek, okay? When somebody sees somebody driving a Maybach or Maybach, or however you pronounce it, people say, oh man, that's a nice car, and people are automatically attracted to that car. And as the attraction moves towards the car, they're now attracted to the sentient being inside the vehicle, which is a human being. Now you see how, in that small example, how the physical realm and the spiritual realm work hand in hand. You haven't even seen the person in the car, but your attraction to the car makes you look at the car. Therefore, as you look at the car, you start to look intentionally at who's driving the car. And as a woman, when a woman sees the person driving the car, she has an attraction to the person driving the car, because she was first attracted to the car, but now she's attracted to the person that's driving the car. But the person is not just physical, not just material. The person is also spiritual. So you see how the spiritual and the physical work hand in hand, but it can work. They both go hand in hand. There's no, it's not a continuum that has a starting end and an ending point. The end point can be the starting point, or the starting point can be the end point. It doesn't matter. So whether you're looking at something through the lens of physicality to get to spiritual, that's fine. Or sometimes you can look at things through the spiritual to get to the physical, that's also fine. But a lot of the times women are looking at things from the physical perspective when it comes to materials. Men, we also look at women from a physical perspective, because the first time we see a woman, we just see their physical. We're looking at their physical outline, their silhouette, how they look, their height, their smile, their walk. Okay, we're looking at all those things. So men are visual from the physical, through the physical lens. Women are physical too, but they're not looking at the way the man looks physically. They're looking at what the man possesses physically. And therefore, what the man possesses physically stimulates them emotionally, which turns them on to be attracted to that man that has the physical possessions. As a man, he looks at the woman physically, and the man gets turned on emotionally, because now he's visualizing all the things that he can do to her in the bedroom. So as a man, you are the Maybach. Meaning that you don't have to think that you're worthless because you don't have the Maybach. If you have a Maybach personality, and you have a Maybach aura about yourself. See, I don't let the kind of car I drive in dictate the way I take care of myself or the way I dress. I don't allow what others see initially, because right now I'm on the road. If anybody turns, like right now I'm behind a GMC Accord Acadia. GMC Acadia. And to my left I have an A6, have an Audi A6. I'm sure if somebody had like a really expensive vehicle, the Audi A6 is not cheap, but you know what I mean? Like if I pull up in a nice car, I mean, even when I have other cars that drive up to me that look nice, I'm gonna turn and look, because it's a nice car, all right? But as men, I don't want you to tie your worth to material possessions. Tie your worth to the way that you live. And the way that you live, when you're doing the right things will be put in place. Right things being put in place doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to get the Corvette or the Lamborghini or the BMW or the Audi. It doesn't mean you're going to get those things. That's not what I'm telling you. I'm not trying to give you a 10-step process on how to get rich. That's not what I'm telling you. Because if your whole purpose is to get rich, you've already lost. The whole purpose is to be rich here. You see, when you get on that level, that when you've exceeded or expounded outside of this third dimensional reality that sees a lot of things through physicality and very low vibrational meaning that you're seeing things through only physical, and you're not at all even factoring in the spiritual components at all. You're not doing that. That's low level thinking. Okay? Most men, I think I could say all men, but I'm going to say most men just to be conservative. Most men want peace. Peace comes with you understanding who you are. Now, if you are a man and you fall into the idea that all I need to do is work hard to get my money up, kind of like that song with Kanye West when he's like, wait till I get my money right. Remember that song by Kanye West when he's like, wait till I get my money right. Well, if you're gonna live like that and you're waiting to get your money right, you're gonna attract a certain type of woman that may not really truly love you for who you are totally. She may only see you as a bank or an ATM. But because you have a misconstrued definition of what self-worth entails or what self-worth is, because you've put everything into the material, like I told you to, now don't do that. Once you've put everything inside the material, then you're going to get certain people that are attracted to that energy. And that type of woman that's attracted to that energy is not the woman that's going to really love you for all of you. You're basically settling. But because your mind is not aligned to truth, you accept the conditions of a woman accepting you as a sign of victory, when in actuality, you're the one settling. Let me say that again so you guys can understand what I'm talking about. The human mind is so powerful to the point where if a man has a faulty foundation of what self-worth entails, and he believes in his heart of hearts that all I need to do is go out there and get money, get a nice car, and I'm going to get the nice woman, you're going to get a nice woman, a nice looking woman. Doesn't necessarily mean she's going to be nice. There are a lot of women out there that look nice, but they're not nice. There are a lot of women that use their looks to their advantage, and that's what you're going to get. It's a game. You're not going to get a woman that loves you for you if you start off from that faulty premise of I need to get these materials to get the chick, to get the attention. You'll get the attention, all right, but little do you know, which you would never know, that woman never truly loved you for who you are. She loved you for what you can produce, and that's just the truth. Most of these NBA athletes and NFL athletes, most of them, well, let me not say most. I don't want to be judgmental. Some of them are not the brightest bulb in the room. They're not very smart. That's why they get taken advantage of. Most of them come from broken homes. They don't really have anybody most of them, all right? Some of them come from good homes and they have good training from their parents, and they know how to look out, and their gold digger radar is very high. They understand when a woman is just there to collect a check, or when a woman is actually there that wants to be there and they love him, or they love the man. But most of these athletes don't have the sense, and these women know that. Women are attracted to intelligent men too. Some of these athletes are not smart. They're not the brightest bulb on the shelf. But these women are okay to settle. But the men don't know any better. They're just happy that they have a trophy wife on their arms. Oh, I got a beautiful wife. Well, you got the beautiful wife, but you never worked on yourself. You never developed your Maybach personality. So because you never developed your Maybach personality, you don't have those attributes. Now, someone would say, well, to be an athlete, you got to have that. You got to work hard. No, some of these athletes are just gifted. They're just being gifted by God, by the creator, genetics. They hit the genetic lottery. There's some that have to work twice as hard to get to the highest level, be it the NFL or the NBA, especially NBA players. If you hit the genetic lottery and you're just extra tall, it's a good chance that you're going to be in the NBA. Couple that with some sort of athleticism with your height, you're going to be in the league. You may not be like a superstar in the NBA, but you're going to be in the NBA. You're going to have your income will be much higher than the average man, because you are a professional athlete. So when you have a faulty premise at the start, then you're going to think that the woman that you're with loves you. But she doesn't. She loves you for what you can bring her. And if you're okay with settling for a woman like that, that just speaks to your self-esteem, or what you think about yourself. I think very highly of myself, but me thinking highly of myself, don't think that means that I'm arrogant or conceited. I'm not. There's humility that's infused within that confidence as well, because I know that the little that I have could be taken away from me at any time. Anything can happen to me. I've had near-death experiences. I've had a handful of near-death experiences. And I know that being alive and seeing my children every day, I'm already in heaven, because I've already experienced a large share of hell. When people complain about the things that they're going through, I just look and like, man, you don't even know how good you have it. But I'm not the one to teach them that. Sometimes you have to experience the hardest part of life for you to actually appreciate the normal things of life and digest those things as being heaven. See, it's one thing to just go through life and just go through it, but it's one thing to go through it being very keen and aware and being very sensitive to certain circumstances and situations, and taking those circumstances and situations into your soul, and then seeing it for the heaven circumstance that it is. Heaven is a mindset, is a mind state. And that's where I place my confidence, and I place my confidence in my mindset. It has nothing to do with my looks, and it has nothing to do with anything material that I have. That's just me. Most guys are not like that. Some guys are, some guys are not. But men don't settle. Let the atoms, let the physical realm, the atoms, let the atoms of the material world, let them bend to you. We are gods. Do not allow yourself to become ensnared by this faulty system. So when that guy was telling me about how these women were looking at him, I said, well, I told him, I said, well, that's going to come with the territory. That's going to happen. But your job has gotten twice as hard. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, if you're going to find a female now, you're never going to know if the female really likes you for you, or do they like you for what you have and what you can give them. That's the irony of all of this, is that when you lack and the woman is still there, the woman, you know that woman loves you all for you, and she believes in you if you are a real man. What do I mean by if you are a real man? A real man is always going to strive to be better. Real men are never complacent. You cannot be. It's not in your DNA. It's not. And the men that are complacent, then that's a mental disorder. You have a mental disease. I'm dead serious, guys. I'm not trying to be rude or mean or calloused here. I'm being dead serious. There's no man, none, and I can speak for all men. There's no man that you're never even if you have 1 billion, you want more. Men, the testosterone in us doesn't allow us to be complacent. It doesn't. Look, women, if you have a complacent man, then that's not a man. Now, when I say complacent, if a man has a good job and he's doing fine, and I get it. I'm not saying that you have to continue to try to get more and more. What I'm saying is that complacency within your everyday life, in terms of physicality, working out, eating habits, things that you're doing at your job. Are you trying to do something different? Are you challenging yourself? When I say complacency, I don't want you guys to pigeonhole yourself into only one thing and focus on just jobs and occupation. Oh, you gotta strive to get a better career. Yeah, that's part of it, but that's not all of it. I'm talking about your whole life, the totality of a human being. Like, what are you doing every day? Are you challenging yourself to be better? Are you just complacent doing the same things over and over again, or are you trying to do things to better yourself? And real men are not complacent. They can't be. They can't be. If you don't believe me, women, why do you think men love to be with a lot of women? One woman is not enough. They want more. They want another one, and another one, and another one, and another one. Men are not complacent. It goes both ways too. There's a catch-22 to that. Yeah, you want a man to be complacent with you, or to just be okay with you. But men internally are not complacent. If a man is loyal, he's fighting against his natural urges of not being complacent, to be complacent, and to be content with who he's with. And a wife and children has a way of domesticating a man. If a man doesn't have a wife and children, there's no reason to come home. I would roam the streets and try to find something else to get into, literally and figuratively. Men are on the hunt. Men are on the prowl, seeking women. Men hunt. And just like men hunt women, we hunt everything else. That's what we do. But if a man is not hunting a woman, it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the drive. He's just controlling it. And that's also a sign of a man who can control his natural urges. That's a sign of a man who's in control. A man who just lives off of impulsivity and is driven by hormones, and doesn't think with the head on top of his shoulders, he'd rather think with the head that's inside of his pants, then that's not a man either. All right? When a man can't control his physical nature, then there's a problem. If he doesn't control that, then there's no way in hell you can expect that man to be loyal and faithful to you. So men have to exercise control as well, even if they have the drive to get more and to get more and to get more. But we are naturally competitive. So I don't know what to tell you guys. I mean, but if you do have a lot of money and you can get nice things, yeah, you're going to attract more women. You just are, regardless of how you look. All right? If you are an attractive man and you don't have a lot of money, then you're most likely going to get a woman that just likes you for you. And if you ask me, I would take the latter. I would take the latter. The two scenarios that I just provided to you, I would take the one where the woman just loves me for me. And then as I continue to strive and removing myself from a state of perpetual complacency, then if I get nice things, if I do get the money later, then she's always there. And I know that she always loved me for who I was. Now I can pay her back for being loyal to me. Right? And you can build your kingdom, guys. If you are an average man and you're not rich and you can't afford these nice material things to attract women, you can get an average girl and both of y'all can just work out together and make yourselves look like the Maybach. You can make yourself look like the BMW that you can't afford. You say, what do you mean by make yourself look like it? Well, people turn their heads when they see these expensive vehicles. You want to look the part to have people turn their heads. You know what good of a feeling it feels when you walk into a room and somebody looks at you and says you look like you work out? Do you like that right there is priceless. Because anybody, people can have money and go buy a vehicle. Now I almost made a mistake by saying anybody can go buy an expensive vehicle, but not anybody. You got to have a certain amount of income. But people who have that certain amount of income, they can go out and buy expensive vehicles. All right? And they can get attention from the expensive, toys and the trinkets that they have. They can get attention through that lens. But I'm telling you that if you walk into a room, no one knows what you drive, no one knows what your income is like, no one knows what your bank account is, but they stop you and say you look like you work out. Even if it's a man that tells another man that's even more respect. That means a man sees that, like, damn, that guy, you can tell he works out. And if a woman does it, that's good too. The woman acknowledges you. She sees you for who you are. You are the BMW. But again, there's another subtlety in that too. You don't want to tie all your self-worth into your looks either. So every advice that I'm giving you, I'm giving it to you for you to use your mind, not to oversaturate yourself with that one, element. In other words, don't say, oh, I don't need to try to have nice things. I'm gonna be happy and just work out in the gym all day and I don't care how broke I am. No, I'm not saying that. You can't operate that way. That's just foolish. What I am saying is that whatever you want, if you want sustainability, if you want something that's gonna last and something that's worth something, it has to be allowed to mature in an organic way. An organic manifestation that happens with you working at something patiently, consistently, with a high degree of dedication, and everything else will fall subservient to you. Everything else will come that you need, not what you want. I can tell you, I can give you plenty of scenarios, and I'm not going to bore you with it, of times I could look back upon reflection of things that I wanted, things that I sought, things that I thought that I needed, and I didn't get them, only to excuse me, only to end up getting something that was better. And I look back, I'm like, oh God, thank God I didn't get what I wanted. So that right there should let you know in and of itself that we don't know what's good for us. The universe does. But if you operate in a way that's good to yourself, and you're patient, and you're diligent, and you're dedicated, and you take care of yourself, taking care of yourself is the nucleus of all of this. Take care of yourself doesn't mean going out for a drink. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about taking care of your health, eating right, working out, all those things. The universe will answer directly to you and give you what you need. Things that you couldn't even think of. Things there are things in my current state that I have right now that I'm like, man, I wouldn't even know to ask for this, but I have it. How did this become? How did I get this? Well, it happened because the universe gave it to me, because I was already living a Maybach type of life. So you can have it either way. You can be patient and organically try to achieve these things, and don't put anything on a pedestal. As a man, don't put women on a pedestal, and as a woman, don't put a man on a pedestal. You don't need a man if you're a woman, and if you're a man, you don't need a woman. What you need is a correct mindset. And once you get the correct mindset, everything else will fall into place. What do you mean, literary fairy? Do you mean if I get the right mindset, I'm going to get a girl? If you think like that, then you've already missed my point. It's not about the girl if you're a man, and it's not about the man if you're a woman. It's about you. It's about you putting yourself in the right mindset. Those things will come, but don't get in a right mindset to get that. That's the wrong mindset. The right mindset is just the sake of having a right mindset. People say, why do you want to have a right mindset? Because it's right to have a right mindset. Think about it. Why else? Do you want a wrong mindset? Because once you have a wrong mindset, you can kiss everything else goodbye. Because if your mindset is wrong, then everything else that comes from that vein becomes useless because it's from a faulty premise. I've talked about this already before. Faulty foundations produce things that are faulty. And as you continue to produce things that are faulty, you're never going to get on the right frequency to see things for what they are. The essence of things are lost when you're on a wrong foundation. But when you have a right mindset, things will start to align. You don't take things too hard. If you don't get attention, that's great. If you get attention, that's great. The good is great. The bad is great. You're not walking around thinking, oh, I need to have a Corvette or a Lamborghini to get attention from girls. That jaded mindset speaks to an immature mind and a person that has a wrong mindset. The right mindset doesn't give a damn whether I get attention or not. The only attention I care is the attention that I give myself, the attention that I give my body, the attention that I give to the kind of foods that I eat, the attention I give to my health. The health is the wealth. I say that every video, and I maybe you guys don't take that saying seriously, but I live by that. That's the wealth. The guy that's in a BMW that has diabetes, what good is it to have a fucking BMW when you have diabetes and your leg's about to be amputated or your toes about to be amputated? What good is that car now? What good is your bank account when your health is deteriorating? Where's that woman that wanted the nice things? Is she by your side now that you're dying? Why do you have erectile dysfunction? Because you're unhealthy. Man, you can't get it up. Man, you're not a man if you can't get it up. Your manhood is wired to your shaft. You can't get it up, but you weren't about getting more money. Look, man, I would rather you be a broke Tyrone with a long shaft that could please the hell out of a woman. That's more manly, in my opinion. It's not about how much money you can get. Money, that's great. And then you can have the gold digging hoe come in and take all your shit, marry you, and then say you were abusive and divorce you and take half your shit that you worked for. You can have that scenario. Or you could be the Tyrone guy that doesn't give a shit about these women and just slanging cock on every woman you see. Now, those are two extremes, of course. I would advise you to do that either. I think you're supposed to have discipline with your shaft. A lot of times women are like, I don't want to spread my legs to any man. And I'm saying, well, as a man, you don't want to stick your cock into any woman either. I mean, this idea that women are more sacred than men, no, we're both supposed to hold ourselves to a high esteem. And something so private as sex is supposed to be something that's held off. Whenever you think it's the right thing to do, and you believe that this can yield great fruit, not just fruit with having children, but a fruit of a sustainable future with that particular person, then you can take the risk. It's a risk, because every person that you sleep with doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to turn out to be great, because you don't know what people are going to be. People are totally different before they sleep with you, and after they sleep with you, you see a new them. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The person is totally different, and once they get the sex, they're totally different after the sex. So you need to be careful. But yeah, so your worth is not in how much money you have and the Corvette you have. Your worth is how you are in bed. How are you in bed? I'm serious, man. What good is it for you to have a Corvette and then you can't get it up in bed and the woman is disappointed sexually? She can't fuck the Corvette. Can a Corvette give her an orgasm? I don't think so. So you can play it both ways. Your worth, man, is in your anatomy. Believe it or not. Believe it or not. It's in your anatomy. Everything else will fall in line. It just will. Don't let the material rule you. You rule the material world. Again, that's my spiel. Leave a comment, tell me what you guys think. And remember, your health is your wealth. Peace out.